morning, everybody. Welcome to our Charles Jackson Leadership Lecture Series program created by Melanie College of Technology Alumni Board of Managers. My name is Rich Wagner. I serve as president of the college, and it's my honor to welcome you all here and introduce our keynote speaker today, Twanya Hood Hill, who is Vice President of Leadership Development and an officer at Ameriprise Financial Services, an international organization that manages more than $8 billion in assets and offers brokerage, investment, and financial advisory services. She began her professional career as a chemical engineer in research and product development at Procter & Gamble. After completing her MBA in Human Services and Human Resource Management and Behavioral Sciences, she worked as a management consultant in the organizational effectiveness practice at A.T. Kearney. She has led training and organizational development functions for Target, Gap, GeneTech, and Hendon Health Systems. She's an adjunct faculty member in the Masters of Arts in Organizational Leadership program at St. Catherine University. Please join me in welcoming Twanya.
Morning. Morning. I know, right? It's early. So we're going to talk a little bit about confidence today. When I was asked by them, would you come and speak, and they actually were really gracious in saying, well, what do you want to talk about? And to me, confidence is one of those, you can't get enough and you can't hear enough about the importance of confidence. And so I've got a personal journey that I've experienced in developing confidence, or at least trying to get there. And so I thought, look, you know what, this is what I want to share today. So how many of you feel confident on a daily basis? Raise your hand. Okay, well then we're done. All right, so is confidence, okay, so I'm going to ask you a question. I want to see how the votes come out. Is confidence, I'm going to ask you, is confidence something that you can learn, or is confidence innate? Is it in you? So who says learn? You can learn confidence. Okay, all right, okay, probably over half. Who says that you're born with it? Okay, congratulations, the answer is both. And, you know, the reality is that people don't think of building confidence. They don't think intentionally about how do I build skills to grow my confidence. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. But we also say, you know, you hear people saying, oh, that person's really confident. Oh, wow, you know, they exude a lot of confidence. But what is that, right? What is that they're exuding? We're going to break that down, too. Because I want to talk about, first of all, I think that everyone can learn confidence. But there is a little bit, some of us have a head start. And that's the way you think of it. Doesn't mean we all can't get to the finish line. Some of us, just based on our personalities or maybe the environment that we grew up in, have a little bit of a head start. So there is a book. It's called The Confidence Code. It is specifically about women building confidence, but a lot of what they talk about applies and is cross-gender. So what they say is that confidence is something that can be mastered. They did a study of monkeys. I know. And you're like, well, don't insult me. It's not an insult. We actually share 90% of our genes we share with monkeys. 90%. There's one particular gene. It's called the serotonin transporter gene, SLC6A4. Feel free to look it up. This gene is a gene that really is about how we exude confidence. And we share that with monkeys. So the U.S. National Institute of Health did a study with these monkeys, and they wanted to find out exactly what we were asking. Is confidence something that's innate? Do you have to be born with this gene, or is it something that can be learned? So what they looked at monkeys and they studied this gene, and they studied a group of monkeys that have this longer strand of this SLC6A4 gene. And those with longer strands of the gene came out looking like they were more social, they were less fearful, and they actually had leadership traits. Right. That just because they had this longer strand. Then they studied monkeys that had a shorter strand. And they found just the opposite, that those monkeys were less social, had a lot more fear, and actually were afraid to take risks. Okay, did not exhibit the same leadership traits. So then they say, okay, So there's some connection. There probably is, based on this serotonin transporter gene, there is something there that is innate, that some people have this longer strand and therefore exhibit the behaviors that we consider to be, that we call confidence. But then what they did is they took the monkeys with the shorter strands. Those are the monkeys that are more fearful, not very confident. They took those monkeys and they paired them with foster mothers who were nurturing. Foster mother monkeys who were nurturing. And what do you think they found? What do you think? All of a sudden, those same monkeys actually started exuding the exact same behaviors as the monkeys with the longer strands. They were more social, they were less fearful, and they started taking on leadership traits. So what that says is, okay, there might be a little something there about genes, but really, environment trumps genes. Environment actually matters. And that means that confidence can be developed. So that was a cool study because, again, you know, we talk about this, there's lots of debate, there's lots of conversation about can it be developed? And the answer is yes. The problem, I think, is that we don't know what confidence means, right? We see someone and we can say, oh, that person looks confident, but we don't have a formula. We don't say there are certain characteristics that make this person feel confident. We almost it's kind of a mystical thing that we say. And oftentimes, confidence is not something that is objective, right? There's no data. You can't put confidence in a test, right? And then get certain data out of it. So it's perception. So good news is we all get to control that. We all get to manage that. That sound fair? All right, okay. So that's, you know, kind of the beginning of the story. Here's the deal. So I'm going to share a little secret with now 50 of my closest friends. I was not born with the confidence gene. I honestly must have the shorter strand of the gene. My mother used to say, you know, she's bashful. That was the word she used. We were a Southern family, and she's just bashful. Because honestly, especially in elementary school, I was afraid of my own shadow. And I remember my mother teaching me and grooming me to speak up. You know, I would want to talk like this, you know, adults come up to you, you know, wanted to hold my head down, and she would literally make me put my head up and look people in their eyes. So it was difficult, but did I learn it? Yes, because my mom is scary. So it was better to learn it than to deal with what happened if I went home, right, and didn't do it. So, okay, I'm still not feeling confident, but I certainly knew, I started learning how to relate, right, how to at least look the part. But so I still, you know, again, as I was going through school, the other thing I learned is leverage what you got. So what are your strengths? Everyone has them. It's important that everyone know their strengths. Is there anyone here who can't identify one true strength of yours? All right, good. Because if you'd raised your hand, we would have had a whole different conversation. Everyone has strengths, unique gifts. So it's important to understand what yours are and then leverage them. So, again, I'm this, you know, confident little Southern girl. I'm not confident little Southern girl. I'm, you know, not feeling bad about myself, but certainly not confident, right? But I had a scary mom, and you know, and I knew I had to do certain things. Like, you know, when adults said, "How are you?" I knew I had to, you know, reach out my hand and say, "Fine, thank you," you know. But you start faking it until you make it. So I learned that my strength, at least what people said about me, was that I was smart. Like, that was the word they used. This is in elementary school. Oh, she's so smart. I was not really smart. And I really wasn't. And I was definitely not any smarter than anybody else. And so I definitely didn't feel any different, but people would say it. And a lot of it you know, again, this whole nurturing foster mother thing. My mom is my birth mother, but this is what she would say to people. She's bashful, but she's smart, right? And so after a while, you just start like, okay, I guess I need to look smart now. So I started learning the behaviors of someone who was smart, honestly. So I would go to school and I'd work my butt off to get the best grades I could get. Why? Because other people said I was smart. So I started trying to look smart. And that's kind of faking it till you make it. So eventually what's happening? So over time, I'm in high school, I was a workaholic in school. Not because I was so personally motivated, but because I wanted to not let other people down. And I knew if other people thought that I was smart, those words, then I need to make good grades to prove them right. So I worked and worked and worked. So I ended up going to graduate school at University of Chicago. That's where I got my MBA. Again, got to my MBA. I went through undergrad as a chemical engineer, worked as a chemical engineer, went to grad school, gotten a really good grad school. Not because, again, I'm thinking, not because I'm smart, but because I work harder than everybody else, right? So go to University of Chicago for my MBA. Scared to death. I mean, really scared. And I'm at this point a mature adult. And I'm scared to death of the fact that I'm going to be found out. Like, I'm literally living my life like I'm going to be found out. I got to work, because I'm going to be found out. So what do? I get to grad school, and I was a little maniac. I was like a little unrealistic and a little scary. And my friends would say, "What are you doing?" I'm going to the library. And I literally put more time than anyone else did. I just knew I had to put more time in. Because again, in my mind, I don't have it naturally, right? So I've got to do the work. So what happens? So I excel. I excel at business school, much to my surprise. But at least I'm keeping the whole facade. In my mind, this time I'm keeping it the facade. I ended up getting, I graduated with merit, but then I also got this Dean's Award of Distinction. And I thought, wow, I really got fooled now. But what other people would say about me is I was a hard worker and I was confident. That's what it looked like to them. So remember, confidence is not just only how you feel about yourself, it's how people see you. And people saw me as confident because if I studied all the time, then I knew the answers in class, and what did I do? I spoke up, right? Because I had studied 3 times as much as everybody else had. So I come across in class as looking confident. I'm literally that student that's like, oh, I know the answer. They ask for class participation, I'm all in it. Why? Because I've read the chapter 3 or 4 times already. And so, again, confidence is not just a gene. It's not just what you're born with. It's what you do to get there. And so that's what I did. That's the work that I put in. All right, so what comes first? Think about this. What comes first? Is it the confidence that comes first, or is it the skill? So was I smart first, or was I a hard worker first? So in reality, I think it's both, right? I felt like it was a hard work. I felt like I had to do the hard work. But again, what's reality? Reality is really what people see in you. What do they see in me? This confidence. So again, think about it both ways. You really truly have the formula. You have it within yourself. So what are some of the skills that you think you can leverage? What are the strengths? Just call them out. It's not bragging, but just say, what are some other things that you can leverage as you are on your journey to build confidence? And by the way, this journey is not an age thing. I'm still on that journey. I will always be on that journey of building confidence. So what are some of your skills, your strengths?
Intelligence.
Yeah, okay, so if you're intelligence, congrats. If you've got that, that's great. It is. And the fact that you can talk about it is even better. It's even better. Absolutely. What else? What other strengths do you have you can leverage? Yeah.
Love of learning.
Love of learning. Okay, if you truly love learning, a lot of people say, I'm a continuous learner, I love learning. But if you truly are one of those people who just loves learning, guess what? You're going to dive into the subject matter far deeper than others. Leverage that, right? What else? Empathy. Absolutely. So you can kind of put your feet in someone else's shoes. Right? You can sort of stand in someone else's shoes and then think about and relate how their experiences, how they might be feeling about their own experiences. That's a gift. Absolutely. You can leverage that. Right? What else can you leverage? What else? Call out some others.
Social.
Okay, so you're sociable. What does that look like? Yeah, it looks just like that, right? Okay.
Actually not.
It's I can talk to people, right? I can get along with people. Maybe you have a beautiful smile. Maybe it's my smile that attracts people to me, right? I'm sociable, and people see me as sociable. That's a gift. And we use those terms sometimes like, oh yeah, she's sociable, like they just throw away. It's not. It's part of how you build your confidence. Know what you have. Know what your leverage points are. So here's my story. So I was talking about this, and what I ended up realizing is that there are some things that I can do to continue this confidence journey, even given where I started with this short little gene, of the serotonin transporter gene. Here's the first. Fail fast. What that means is get out there. Put something out there. Don't be afraid. Don't overanalyze it. Don't strive for perfection. Put something out there. And then see what happens. And then adjust. Make adjustments as needed. So what do you mean put something out there? So you're in a meeting. And people ask you, they're talking, and you have a thought, but you're not quite sure if it's factual. You're not quite sure if people are going to, really think highly of it, but you have a thought in your head. Don't overanalyze it. It doesn't matter if it's right. It doesn't matter, if it's exactly what people were thinking. Put it out there. Put it out there. And then what happens? If they say, well, that was the stupidest thing I ever heard, say, okay, well, I got something else coming for you, right? Come up with experiments where you can put stuff out there quickly and early. And the more you do it, the more you get comfortable doing it. And you know what starts to happen? Eventually people start to expect it from you. And then they start listening for your comments. And then they'll wait until you speak. Yeah. Right? It literally happens that way. But it starts with you. Put stuff out there. That's fail fast. Avoid the negative talk. I'm never gonna, they're never gonna understand. They're never gonna care. I'm gonna fail that test. I have a daughter who is a junior in college. I have one that's a sophomore, the one that's a junior in college. And the junior in college is this is her personality. I'm gonna fail. I literally called her during midterms. I said, hey, how you doing? Flunking out of life. Like, okay. So, but what, of course, did I say to her? You gotta get more confident, build your confidence up, right? Coming from a mother to daughter doesn't really land the same way it does today, but getting out of those negative thoughts. So instead of saying, I'm gonna fail, this midterm is a really significant part of my grade. If I do well on it, I'm set for the semester. I'm gonna get a good grade in class. Switch it, right? Turn it, in a work setting. So they're not gonna see me as credible. They're never gonna see me as credible. So instead of that, I turn it and say, what can I do in the first minute, 60 seconds, that's gonna establish credibility for me? What can I do quickly? All right, so just change the negative thought. Change it and turn it around. Managing perceptions. I have a little more that I want to talk about managing perceptions. So you look at the people around here. There might be other constituents, but take a look at these. So we have peers and family and students, other students. If you have a boss, your leader, your boss, your significant other, and professors. All of these people have different perceptions of you, right? All of them do. Do you think you know what their perceptions are? Think about it. It's important to understand what people's perceptions are so you can manage them. The other thing about perceptions is that they are reality. They're other people's reality about you, and they're formed in 60 seconds. 60 seconds. So you have to think about what that means. There's a story, another study, it's from Psychology Today. The article was called The First Impression. And they actually did an experiment to really see how perceptions how quickly perceptions were formed. So they showed, there were a group of subjects, so say we're the subjects. They showed us 20 to 30 second videos of an interviewee partnering and greeting an interviewer. So imagine the situation, the interviewer is sitting in the room, the interviewee comes in, shakes their hand, and they watch that interaction between the interviewee and the interviewer for 30 seconds. Okay? Then, that's it. They only see that amount. Then they ask them to jot down their perceptions of the people that were the interviewees, right? How do you think they came across? So they took all that data, those perceptions, from what we rated, and then they did another study. And they took, instead of us, they took trained interviewers, and they had them interview those same people for 20 to 30 minutes for a true interview situation. And then the interviewers, who were trained interviewers, came out and they rated the same people, right, based on 20 to 30 minutes of a conversation. So we got a quick second, we had 20 seconds or so compared to 20 minutes. And then they rated, and they compared the two ratings. And what they found is that they were almost dead on. The perceptions were almost dead on. So people who were not trained, who only saw a person for 20 or 30 seconds, had the exact same perception of the people who had also been interviewed for 20 to 30 minutes. They had the same perceptions of those interviewees. So in other words, you have to hit it coming in the door, right? You've got 60 seconds. And so think about that. It's not just interviews, although many of you who are students, yeah, it is interviews, right? You want to get jobs. But it's any situation. It's literally any situation. Think about, say you came in here. Yep, it's early. How did you come in? Did you chat with anybody? Did you make eye contact? Did you smile? Right? What did you do when you came in? Did you look straight for your friends and then sit down? All of that is perception. You think people aren't noticing, they are, right? And so good news is, you get to manage that. Only you control that. You get to control the perceptions that people have of you. Remember that. It's within your power. All right, so now, a couple questions for you. Take a look at this chart and think about all the different groups of people that you interact with in your life. And think about who has the best perception of you. Can you see this chart? Of all these groups, who has the best perception of you? Family? Your family has the best perception of you? Okay. And that's probably, a common answer. They know you best. They've known you for the longest, right? They love you. And so therefore, they're going to have a positive impression of you. Okay? Some people have said family is the worst. Okay. Depends on your situation, right? All right, who else? Who else has who has the best perception of you?
Significant other.
Oh, that's really sweet. It is. It is. Again, it's the same rationale, right? Your significant other is your significant other because they chose to be. So hopefully they have a good impression. However, if you've been married as long as I have, it's a different story, right? I wouldn't even ask my husband this question. All right. Who has the most critical perception of you? And by the way, there's no right or wrong answer. This is all personal.
Peers.
Peers have the worst perception of you? Why?
Because they see you day to day. They see your good and bad.
Okay. All right, so they see a little bit of both.
Yeah.
All right. If it's your peers that have the worst perception of you, good news, you can manage that.
Yeah.
It's actually harder to manage your family's perceptions because they've just known you all your life, right? And it's hard to undo, 30 years or 40 years or 50 years, whatever. It's hard to undo that, right? But for peers, they like you said, they actually are developing their perceptions based on the day-to-day interactions. If you don't think your peers have the best perception of you, that's good news. You can fix that. You can change that. What other groups up here to you have the worst perceptions? Yes?
Could be my adult children.
Oh, I guarantee you that's true. I guarantee you that's true. That when they get to teenage, something happens when kids get to teenagers, right? And all of a sudden, the parents, especially the mom, unfortunately, is just dumb. Like, we don't know anything, right? Oh my God, I can't, oh, you just don't get it, right? And I don't know when it turns around. Who has adult children that are lovely? So afterwards, we'll have a little seminar on that. But yeah, they oftentimes have the most critical perception. Again, this is just, it's all personal. There's no right or wrong. The point though is beware and be aware of what people's perceptions are. No, think about it. What do your peers think of you? What about your leader, your boss? You should have a good sense of what your boss thinks of you, right? What about other folks in your life? You should have a good sense of how they think of you, and then you can manage it. Then you can turn it around. So managing perceptions is a skill, and it's something that you can do that will help you portray confidence. Because once you start managing those perceptions and then start shifting people's perceptions of you to the positive, guess what? You're going to come across as confident. Right? That's why the family thing, if you have if they have great perceptions of you, those are never going to change. Those are solid. So, all right. So another elusive concept that I like to try to talk about is, and we did have a different character, we had to change it because of the political environment. So you guys know who that was. But, so charisma is this sort of elusive thing. You've heard people say, oh, that person has charisma. Oh, he's so charismatic. She's got so much charisma, right? We talk about that, and we kind of always do it like in a whisper, like, ooh, it's this mythical idea, and we never know how to define charisma. Charisma denotes confidence. And so how do you develop charisma? It's a simple formula. I'm not saying it's simple to learn, but it's a simple formula. It's strength, be strong, be confident, be competent, know what you're talking about. In my case, study really, really hard, right? And then likability. It's the combination of the two. What's likability mean? Warmth, inviting. Someone said social, right? Approach situations and people positively. Have the two. You have to have both. When you have the combination of both, you have developed charisma. So you can actually, again, impact both your strength, right? That's how much you know about what you're doing. And then your likability, how people receive you. Okay, so what happens when you have strength? Oh, you know what we didn't do? We didn't put the mic on. Do you think the mic might already be on?
You need sound?
We'll try it. We'll try it. This is an example of strength without likability. I have a feeling it's not going to work. Let's see if we can do it. Well, actually, it's not even coming up, so that's not helpful. Oh, because of my connection to the internet. All right. So let's talk about these, and if I can, I'll show you these beforehand. But strength, what we're showing is strength. Don't worry about it. We're going to go ahead, ladies. We'll go ahead. Don't worry about it. We'll move forward. They're just little tiny video vignettes. But you guys can tell me. So what do you think? Sorry, this is here. How does Simon Cowell from American Idol, how does he portray strength? He's condescending. What else? He's a bully.
Criticize.
He criticizes. What else?
Honest.
Yes. He actually, he's painfully honest. Yeah. The reason he can signify or denote strength is because he does know what he's talking about. Now, no one said he was likable. So strength without likability is Simon Cowell. All right? He's not likable, but he's an expert. He's a subject matter expert. But he's also condescending and critical. And he's kind of mean, right? All right, so that's what strength without likability looks like. Would you call Simon Cowell charismatic? No, we wouldn't, because he's missing the likability factor. All right, so how many of you have ever watched The Office? The show The Office, right? Okay, so you know this character, right? Steve Carell's character in The Office? That's likability without strength. It's true, right? That's what it is. He cares more about being liked than anything else. So his whole approach is, as long as they like me, right? I just don't want to be disliked. What's missing for him? Strength, right? Does he come across as charismatic at all? No, he comes across as weak, right? Comes across as soft or a pushover or just not knowing what he's doing. So one without the other doesn't get you there. But the combination of the two get you there. Just call out to me who you think of when you think of the word charisma. Any figures, celebrities, politicians, anyone that you would say is charismatic, that you feel like they have the combination of strength and likability. And by the way, this is not a right or wrong, and we can't fight about it. So it's a brainstorm. So feel free to throw it out. Everybody doesn't have to agree.
Oprah Winfrey.
Oprah. Yes, a couple people said Oprah, right? Absolutely. She's a really great example. And not everybody loves Oprah, I know. But she's a great example of being competent, right? And Oprah has a similar story. When she was growing through her journalism career, she worked harder than anybody else. She said, she would sleep at the news stations to make sure she was on top of the stories and have her stories written. I mean, she worked really, really hard and still does. She sleeps, I think, 4 hours a day. So she's got the strength part, but there's something about her that people like. People like her. She's got the combination. Who else?
Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton. Okay, again, don't worry about the political point, but really, truly, he has the charisma. He has the charismatic formula. And if you ask people who are some of our most charismatic presidents, Bill Clinton's at the top of the list. Because again, he came across as knowledgeable, well-read, insightful, so he's got the strength part, but something about him was likable, right? People actually like him as a person. Again, I know, not everybody does, it's okay. It's okay. What else? Who else would you call out that's got charisma, true charisma?
Ellen.
Ellen DeGeneres? Yeah. And so again, she's one of those people that really, truly has studied her craft. So as a comedian and as an actress, she was, for years, she didn't really come on the scene until maybe, 10 years ago? But she had been working at this for a couple decades before. So the work ethic and the work around it and the way that she exudes that ability to do what she does, her craft, and then she's got the likability, right? She just seems like a nice person. People say, I wouldn't mind having dinner with Ellen. She's one of those people, right? Absolutely, she's got charisma. Again, doesn't mean you have to love her, it's just whether or not these people have charisma. Michelle Obama, okay, all right. Again, likable, right? Warm. Michelle Obama comes across as being caring about others, being warm, being relatable, at the same time, really, really accomplished, really smart, thoughtful. So yeah, absolutely. Okay, all right, so we could go on and on and on. I don't want to upset people, because I know some people are thinking that those are the worst people in the world. But again, from a charisma standpoint, it's just helpful to think about it. Something else that you can do, and this is really, I love this because it's easy to do. Think about how you physically present yourself, how you physically show up. So we talk about power poses, all right? So we all know this, right? It's a natural reaction when there's victory, when we feel like we've done something well, when we've won. Human beings, and by the way, animals do it as well. They do it as monkeys do it. I know, I'm not meaning to insult us, but monkeys do it too. What do they do? Right? They make themselves bigger. They feel good. They want everyone to see. So they stretch themselves out into that V shape. And it's natural for us to do that. How many of you have seen kids when they win a video game? Right? They're playing these, silly little games right there on the. What do? Right? They do. It's a natural reaction. It's interesting. They did a study that of people who have been blind since birth, and when they win something, what do? Right? Right? So it's a natural reaction. We make ourselves bigger when we're confident. So, key, make yourself bigger. That denotes confidence. Right? Now, I'm not saying go in a meeting and don't scare people. But it's really about making your making your presence bigger. And you can do that physically. You can do it physically. All right, so we know that power pose. This is what powerless looks like. We make ourselves smaller. We shrink up. We go in, right? When you are feeling not confident, when you are feeling scared or fearful, or just not knowing, right? Say you go into a test and you know you didn't study, right? You're not the student in class who's like, yeah, we spread out, yeah, I'm ready, let's go, right? Instead, you're like, please don't notice me. You shrink up. That's what we do when we're powerless. Okay, so what about power standing? We can actually stand in ways that are powerful. Have any of you ever taken executive photos? So a really good photographer who does executive photos will tell you to stand in a power pose. This is a power pose. Okay, it's also Wonder Woman, but it's a power pose. But how do you warm that up? So that denotes strength. At least that's what they say. This denotes strength. So this, right, doesn't look real warm and charismatic. But what do you need to do? What do I need to do to brighten that up? Smile. That's it. Just smile. All of a sudden now it looks more like charisma. It's little things like that. And you see, when you look at executive photos, you see people who are doing that. You're like, wow. You don't think so much about it. You just think, oh, they look so confident. This one is another one, right? So if you do this, what do you look like? Angry, don't come near me, right? But smile. Right, I know. I didn't want to be the model this morning. But that's what you do. So you match the strength with the likability all in one pose. You can do it. All right? All of a sudden now you look confident. Look at the lady who's putting her hands on the table. That's another power pose. To put your hands on the table. But she looks intimidating, doesn't she? Like I feel sorry for the person who's sitting down at the table. Okay, but what can she do to brighten that up and to make her look more engaged than intimidating? And I'm telling you, man, smiles. We gotta get our money's worth out of smiles. They help. All right. What about power sitting? Most of the times you're like, well, I'm not standing at a table. I'm usually sitting. I'm sitting in a classroom. I'm sitting in a meeting. All right? So how do you denote power when you're sitting? Who has ideas?
Good posture.
Good posture, sitting up. Yes, what else? We have one over here.
You're being stretched out, comfortable.
Stretching out. So stretching out, this is a power pose, right? But when you warm it up, it looks confident, right? So I'm not going to do it because I don't want to mess my hair. But, if you do that, right? So this is a power pose. You ever walk into an executive's office and they're back like this? Okay, that can look intimidating. But if they smile and are approachable in that same pose, they look charismatic. Absolutely. What's another one that you can do? Sitting. What else can you do?
men do this, so push the chair back and, yeah, and they might go like this
That's right.
too.
Yeah.
That's hard to compete with though, with these guys that are over 6 feet tall.
Yeah, that's right. And so again, you have to know what you're working with, right?
Yeah.
And so if you are petite or smaller, man or woman, it doesn't mean you need to be, you don't need to go over the top. You just do what works for you. So one of the things that we can all do is grab that chair and bring it to you, just if you don't mind, since you're the one that was sharing this. Yeah, okay, now put your arm on the chair. Just sit there. There you go, that's power pose. That's a power pose because you're confident enough to move out of your space. Now, if someone's sitting in the chair, that's probably not the best thing, right? But that's a power pose. You've made yourself bigger in a casual way, an informal way, and it says, I'm relaxed, I'm confident. Okay? All right. What other ones? Okay, so why does all this matter? Does confidence really matter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
You get listened to.
You get listened to. What else?
It affects other people's perception of you.
Yes.
Very much so.
Yes. Yes. And how they relate to you, right? There was a study done of students in a classroom, and they call them alpha students. Alpha students are the ones that come in class early, they put their books down right in the front or in the smack dab middle of the room, right? In a power position, and they make themselves, they spread out, and when questions are asked, they're the first to raise their hands. They're alpha students. Does it matter? Yes, it matters. Why? Because teachers know those students. The professor knows who that student is. And by the way, if there's class participation grade, they're nailing that. So then they have a better chance getting an A in the class, right? Versus those that come in the classroom, sit in the back or the back corners, and don't want to be noticed. Those are the students that aren't going to, that you have to work harder. You can definitely get the A. You have to work harder at it. So why not give yourself a bit of an advantage and use the charismatic tools that we've given you today? What questions do you have? Yeah,
So
yeah.
do you think them just going through the motions of doing some of these things actually help you do better? Actually help you internally
Yep.
raise your...
Yep. And that's why you break it down into specific skills, specific things that you can do, tips. Because yes, you can fake it till you make it. Eventually, people will start to see you differently, which means you will start to see yourself differently. I guarantee you. Even if you're not feeling confident, you will start to see yourself differently. It's been a pleasure. This has been really fun for me and a wonderful way to spend my morning. And I look forward to hearing more about your exhibition of confidence as you go forward in your careers. Thank you all. Oh.